Uh,
Oh my god, what is going on with this internet, man?
so I need you to share your screen so we could see if it's got a speed cap. If it's got a speed cap, that means it's only going to go up to like 1 meg.
Speak up on what? The extender?
No, on the actual application,
What application?
the Nvidia application. Did you join the Discord?
Yes, that's updated as well.
That shouldn't take long.
Everything's, yeah, I
That's
haven't turned this PC on in fucking years, so everything's got updated. I think that's why it's fucking so slow.
you need to stop some of the updates you don't need. Your
Yeah,
CPU is having an overload. It's gonna blow up.
you wanna hear this fan, mate? Jesus.
The mutual aid you're now getting from around the state and from obligation. Were there any efforts to bring in mutual aid for the worst case scenario, which is proven to be true? And if it hadn't, we all wish it had happened. But if it hadn't happened, say thank you and we'll help you out down the road.
You know, it's my understanding that that's not the way mutual aid works. But again, there is a long list of issues that need to be examined,
Go onto the
dissected,
internet and
investigated,
speak
evaluated. And if there are people who need to be held accountable, they
Are
will
you
be.
connected to
Thank you.
Wi-Fi on your phone?
We now have a National Guard.
Yes.
Another question.
Speed test off your
Were
phone.
there any efforts to mobilize the National Guard preemptively just as an apparatus to be able to do massive evacuations?
Again, it's my
sound
understanding
quality
that that
of
is
this
not
news
the way it
channel is
works.
garbage.
When I spoke to the governor
Holy
on
shit.
Wednesday, it was beginning.
They're talking about the America fires, in it, in LA. But the sound quality is so bad of the microphones, it's like they're talking away from.
Then you were having covered 48 hours after.
Well, I can certainly share my experience at UCLA when we were having all the protests there. And the idea that we would have 200 police officers that were waiting around to go to a protest in UCLA, that's just not the way you mobilize troops. People are coming from all over the place.
Guard advanced American extensively.
Well, you're talking 20, 30 years ago. I can't I can't respond to that.
That's
Chief,
unpredictable,
would
yeah.
you?
Yeah. I mean, this is an unpredictable event. You have predictable wind coming. You don't know how the extent of that wind. You can't predict you're going to have a fire, and certainly nothing to this scale. Something like you mentioned the O.J. Simpson case. That's something that at that time, and I was there, it was predictable that the verdict was going to come out date certain, and so you could set up to be able to address whatever the issues were. But with natural disasters, it's a whole different ballgame. Nobody can afford to send people to stand around for what may happen. We have to respond as quickly as we can when the need arises.
Did you do the test on the phone?
You know, once again, I will say that I have one mission right now, and the two of us, and frankly, all of us here have one mission, and that's to save lives, to save homes, and to save businesses. That is going to be my focus. Any issues, opinions, differences, whatever I might have will be dealt with in private. Thank you.
Mayor, and given that that is your mission, now that you know about this significant wind event that is coming, how are you preparing?
Well, I mean, I think you have an example here. Everybody standing here. We are absolutely doing everything we can to prepare. Knowing what has happened over the last few days, we will be prepared. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everybody.
All right, city officials there providing an update at the Emergency Operations Center of the firefight. Also there at the end saying that they are bracing and preparing for the next wind event, which we know will be coming sometime next week. Interesting dynamic there with LA Mayor Karen Bass now standing in the same room with Fire Chief Kristen Crowley, when yesterday there was a little bit of drama that happened with Kristen Crowley going to members of the media, including first our own Gigi Graciette telling the members of the media and Gigi that the city of LA that failed the department, the city, when it came to preparing for these fires with some $17 million in cuts, that they didn't have enough resources, and that they failed the city.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the mayor actually seemed to start the conversation with the fallout of that interview that aired here live on our air, saying, you know, what went wrong, the questions of what went wrong, because she knows she's going to be asked about that. She says that will come later, seemingly not wanting to talk about that now, knowing, of course, that that conversation was going to happen. She noted repeatedly that she and the chief are focused on saving lives, focused on fighting these fires, and any differences that they have will be worked out in private. The chief then, of course, coming in, pretty much mirroring those words from the mayor, but then also noting that they did indeed already meet yesterday in private to discuss what she called shared priorities.
Okay, they said they are in lockstep, so a much different dynamic today than there was yesterday. We're going to go to Gigi Graciette. She's live taking a look at the Palisades fire to show us the very latest from there. Gigi.
You know, we're now able to see this fire from the San Fernando Valley and from here, Mandeville Canyon, and this is where the fire is absolutely raging, so close to these homes. I'm on Banyan Drive and West Ridge Road, just up the street, Cordelia Road, and we're watching the water drops, the Chinook, the Coulson Chinook helitanker, 47. It has a 3,000-gallon tank on it, one of the most heavy lift helitankers that we have. It is usually privately contracted, most often to Southern California Edison. It has been doing continuous drops. We see LA County Fire. This is what we saw last night in the San Fernando Valley as the Palisades fire climbed to the ridge above Encino, Tarzana, Sherman Oaks. There was such concern in the valley. And there you see, I believe that is LA County Fire. They have made continuous drops. Last night, all air units were on that ridge trying to prevent it from coming into the San Fernando Valley. We have seen continuous water drops. This entire neighborhood, Mandeville Canyon, has been ordered to evacuate. Most folks have left, but we have seen a lot of residents who are choosing to stay behind until the very last minute. Now, the fire is visible from so many scenes, and we're talking about the evacuation. Let's go to some video we shot for you earlier this morning as an entire line of Mandeville Canyon residents waited, hoping to be allowed to come back inside their homes, some of them telling police and the National Guard they needed to pick up medication, they needed to pick up items that were very important to them. And I want to bring it back here live. Armando Hernandez, photographer, CAL FIRE, talking to one of the residents who has chosen not to evacuate at this time, getting an update. CAL FIRE talking to that resident, telling him about the mandatory evacuation order, telling him exactly what the fire is doing and the concern they have for this community. And we have seen this up and down the street. Now it's Sunset and Mandeville Canyon. The National Guard has been stationed. We just showed you that video just moments ago. We've seen the National Guard up and down Sunset Boulevard here to assist us with the fire. And earlier today in Bel Air Crest, that neighborhood, we saw entire strike teams from out of state, also from Northern California. The strike team we were with early this morning was from Utah, made up of about 5 different fire agencies all coming together. I asked one of the firefighters, how long are you going to be here? And he told me, as long as Los Angeles needs us. We have a strong connection to Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, some of the Utah firefighters were telling us they have friends who have family members here, and everyone is watching this fire very closely. This is the view, again, above Mandeville Canyon. Very stressful for the folks who have stayed behind and have not left, and for the folks parked down on Sunset Boulevard hoping to get in. They're not being allowed in right now because it's simply too dangerous, say firefighters. And we see here another strike team leaving. This one, another fire department, I missed the name there, many of them coming in from Northern California and also from out of state. That is the Manteca Fire Department, part of a strike team you're seeing here to assist us during this major emergency. Just one quick question I want to answer before sending it back to you. I got a lot of calls last night from people who live in the San Fernando Valley asking me if a new fire had broken out because they could see the fire burning above Encino. This is the same.
Offline for 5 years. It's an old account, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't have to call me. Go to my channel. Have you got my channel?
What channel?
My Discord channel.
Yeah.
Oh, are you looking at Battle.net? I thought you was looking at Discord. I thought you was looking at Discord.
No. It's your old account on Battle.net.
Does it show you the email on that account?
What account?
The OG account that's been offline for 6 years.
No.
Okay.
It says friend since August 2019.
We'll send it back to you.
But it will be stronger than what we're seeing today and what we will be seeing tonight and into tomorrow. So needless to say, red flag warnings will continue. We've got critical fire weather conditions that will continue as well. Temperatures are actually on the cooler side. Despite that sunshine, temperatures right now still in the 50s, and we're going to cool or get up to a high of some cooler temperatures than yesterday, and we'll be closer to average today. Those wind advisories are in effect for portions of LA and Ventura County, parts of the San Gabriel Mountains, and of course down through parts of the Santa Monica Mountains, including that Palisades fire. Those wind gusts still expected to be near 40-45 miles per hour as we get through the afternoon and evening. Critical fire weather conditions concentrated through parts of Orange County and the Inland Empire. This means do not let your guard down. Just because it is not, you're not seeing fires where you are, the danger is there. That means the smallest spark, that fire ignition can cause a fire, and it can spread rapidly under these weather conditions. Here's our 7-day forecast. I just want to show you quickly sort of the extended outlook. We're going to stay in the 60s. We'll get that second round of stronger winds Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe some clouds and a more noticeable, significant difference by the end of next week. So hang in there, everybody. Back to you.
All right, Maria, thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Let's go back to Gigi Gracia joining us more on the ground with more on the Palisades fire. Gigi.
We're in Mandeville Canyon on Banyan Drive. This area evacuated because of the intense danger from the Palisades fire. Joining me now live, CAL FIRE firefighter Edwin Zuniga. He's actually stationed up in Placer County, but he's here to assist us in Los Angeles. Tell me what the fire is doing, because I'm a layman, obviously. I see that thick black smoke directly behind those homes here on Banyan, and it's very concerning, obviously.
Yes, 100%. So this area on the northeast section of the fire, this is our main priority today. This area hasn't seen any fire history over the last 50, 60 years, so all the fuels here in this area are at critical levels, primed and ready to ignite, which is why we're seeing all this flame activity right now. As the sun comes out and puts more heat on the fuels, it reignites that fire and gives it more fuel to burn more intensely, and that's why we're seeing a lot of activity. We're seeing helicopters, we're seeing our VLATs, our airplanes, and you're just seeing them going round after round after round to try to take that the activity out. So all these homes are currently threatened right now. On my way up, we saw 10 engines, code 3 lights and sirens hauling up here to make sure that they can defend all the homes and ensure that we don't burn any more structures down. But right now, this is our main concern. We knew this was going to be a threat going into today's operational period. So this is where we're throwing all our resources, and this is where we're going to focus our fight in today.
And the challenge from the Palisades fire, I was in the San Fernando Valley earlier this morning, and last night that fire just lit up the ridge. And I know you guys threw everything you had at it, Los Angeles City Fire and all the assisting agencies. I think you had about 10 choppers and planes dropping water, because that is a very densely packed neighborhood.
Yes, and then one of the other things that we have to our advantage in our arsenal now is that we have night vision capabilities with our helicopters. So now we're able to drop water on the fire 24/7, non-stop. So we're grateful for the
PC alive yet?
That we have, and the new training that our pilots are going through to ensure they're qualified.
Is your
to
PC
fly
alive yet?
So that helps us out a lot to be able to continue that fight and be aggressive around the clock.
Those water drops are crucial in this type of a fire, because those are very hard areas to reach on foot. I know you've got hand crews. I know you've been cutting line. I know there have been controlled burns, but it is very challenging from the ground.
Yes, 100%. And the other issue that we face is when we have crews working on the ground, it's a slow process. If we can't get dozers in there, and we have to have our hand crews and our firefighters get in there, it's a long work period for those guys to try to build that containment line and try to put in hose and fight the fire directly. Sometimes we have to disengage because the fire activity becomes too immense and too dangerous.
Sounds like you're downloading a bunch of virus. What's going on?
With our aerial helicopters,
like it's ding.
Lower the intensity.
Press yes, bastard.
Engage again.
Oh, you said VLAT for viewers at home. VLAT, very large air tanker. Yes,
very
big airplane. Big airplane.
Very big airplane. Yeah. So they are another another crucial part of our arsenal that we have, and we're grateful that we have those here, and especially with the super tankers that we got from Canada, we're grateful to have those here as well.
Let's talk about the Super Scoopers. We love the Super Scoopers in Los Angeles. They come and they seem to save us every single year. Somebody, though, was flying a drone. And I don't think we know the identity of that person, but I know police are very interested in finding that person.
Yes.
That drone crashed into one of our leased Super Scoopers and has disabled it, has grounded it.
Yeah, so there's a hole on the wing now because of that. That's why we always push out the message to people: don't fly your drones, because if you fly your drones, we can't fly our airplanes or helicopters. It's dangerous for our pilots. And now that airplane is out of commission until Monday.
And you were looking live, photographer Armando Hernandez, showing you that VLAT, V-L-A-T. That's how it's commonly referred to among firefighters. Stands for very large air tanker. Doing those water drops, we saw the Colson Helitanker, about 3,000 gallons of water being dropped at a time. That has to be appreciated in a fire like this.
Yes, and then we're thankful that we have water resources that we're able to refuel all our airplanes and helicopters with very quickly. That's why you see them coming in so fast, and those turnarounds are very quick for those.
You've seen a lot of fires. I know CAL FIRE goes to all of these fires to assist the local agencies. You've seen the damage in Pacific Palisades. You've seen the destruction, some of it at least, because it's so huge, so many structures lost. Is this one of the worst fires you've seen, or where does it stack up with what you've seen?
I'd say it's up in the top 5 for sure. Obviously, I've seen communities wiped out completely, and it's very sad to see that. I take it personally. Every time I go anywhere in the state, I like to think I'm part of the community while I'm there, because I want to help the people as much as I can. Not just me, but I know every firefighter here wants to help everyone. To see that kind of destruction, it takes a hit on us, right? So
show the camera. Let me see.
But it's part of what happens in a fire, and we're trying our hardest to try to prevent any more destruction right now.
And Edwin, I don't know if you've got the latest reports on the weather. I know tonight, I believe we go into some kind of critical fire weather watch, and we're waiting for more winds. How concerning is that to CAL FIRE?
Yeah, so it's we're expecting more winds and more intensity starting at 6
trying
p.m.
to
tonight
download
until 6
Cataclysm
p.m. tomorrow.
Click
So the next 24 hours
on the
starting
one next
tonight,
to it.
it's going to be a crucial part for our firefighters to be engaged to try to keep this at bay as much as possible.
And I talk about this all the time, but I'd like to hear it from you. You know, when that wind is blowing, those Santa Ana winds that we saw, that can blow that ember cast, those embers.
Retail.
A mile.
Click on
Firefighters
games
have
at the
told
top.
me that some fires start 5 miles away from the original fire. And I think sometimes folks go to bed and they say, oh, the fire's, 8 miles away, I'm good.
Click on
But the
Wild
truth is,
Classic.
if it's a windy situation, you really need to keep monitoring it.
Yeah, so if you're under evacuation
This
warnings,
one
it's
is
very
up
important to keep an eye on your phone, because if those evacuation orders come down, they come down within seconds. And we've seen in the past, we've seen larger fires
Click on the
where,
category.
it's just like you said,
It
fire
comes up with more
embers
categories.
go 5 miles away and start the fire again, and we're off to the races once more. It's a very dangerous situation that we're in right now, and we know that. So anytime we talk to the community, we always tell them just keep your eye on your phone, pay attention to all the social media links that we have, LA County, LA City, the CAL FIRE links. So when sheriff gives the order, just grab your stuff, grab your pets, grab food, water, any important documents you might need. Just have them stored, ready to go in your car, so when you get that moment's notice, you're ready to go.
All right. Edwin Zuniga with CAL FIRE out of Placer County, just one of the many firefighters that are here to assist Los Angeles. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And this morning we've been seeing all types of strike teams. We're just going to continue to show you these water drops. Again, we're on Banyan and Westridge. Cordelia is up there, and you see that thick smoke there in the distance.
When they do these water drops, they completely miss every time.
There's CAL FIRE right now. Talk to me about that chopper we're seeing right now, Edwin.
Yeah, so that chopper is one of the new Blackhawks that we got.
Every time they drop water,
and that Blackhawk also has night vision capabilities, and that's working dropping water right now.
I don't know if it's on purpose. I don't know if it's on purpose or
so
it's just
part
really
of the
bad.
Aerial assault last night. We saw that on the ridge over the San Fernando Valley. We're seeing it here over Mandeville Canyon right now, which is under a mandatory evacuation order. I saw you and your partner there speaking to homeowners who have not evacuated.
The fire's right on top of them, and they swerve around it.
It's hard because if I was in their
drop
shoes,
it right in front of it.
I don't know what I would do. It's your home, all your stuff that you've grown up with, all your personal belongings are in the house. You don't want to lose anything. So I feel for them. I understand where they're coming from. We see it all the time. But we always try to warn them, like, if you're on your evacuation orders, just grab your stuff. All the stuff can be replaced. But at the same time, we just understand. We get it. We understand the pain that and the stress that they're going through. It's a hard decision to make to leave your home and not try to fight and protect it. So as long as you're safe and if they know when to evacuate, as long as they get out safely, that's all we care about. We don't want anyone to pass away on this fire. That's our main priority. It's life, property, and the environment in that order.
Edwin Zuniga, thank you, firefighter from CAL FIRE from Placer County. Thank you very much. And you brought up something very important. I don't know if we've already covered this on Fox 11 this morning, but this was breaking news that sadly possible human remains have been found at 2 other locations, Altadena and Topanga. LA County Sheriff Department, homicide detectives, and the medical examiner, who ultimately will make the determination if they are indeed human remains. But detectives are investigating both at the burnt out rubble in Topanga and also in Altadena, and that is brand new this morning. And officials tell me we could see the death toll on these fires, on all the different fires. Reporting live in Mandeville Canyon, I'm Gigi Gracia. We'll send it back to you.
Yeah, to your point, they are sending out search teams now to look for some of the missing. 13 people at last count still missing as family members are searching for some of their loved ones.
Click on the settings button.
Look from Skyfox now here. This is an overhead shot of the Palisades fire. Gigi Graciete reporting from Mandeville Canyon, and this is a fire that you may have noticed moved overnight into the northwest boundary of the fire. And overnight there were mandatory evacuations in the Bel Air, the Brentwood area. There were also evacuations of parts of Encino.
Sherman Oaks as well. This fire grew 1,000 acres overnight. Fire crews are working incredibly hard on this. They have confirmed 426 homes have been destroyed.
Yeah, we're going to show you some other pictures here because this is a very aggressive firefight to try and put out this fire, which is pretty much at this hour the biggest trouble spot in terms of the fires that were that's being fought right
while
now.
you're playing.
100 engines there that have been brought to the ground. They've got at least 6 helicopters, and then you heard Edwin Zuniga from CAL FIRE saying that they have the VLATs, so the very large air tankers. We saw shots of that.
Allow you to download it early so you can just log in.
Coming down and bringing all that water and Phos-Chek to try and
slowly download
containment lines there. They're also taking advantage of the weather and a little bit more favorable conditions now, and they're also doing backfire. So some of the smoke that you're looking at is also from
dial-up 2.0.
Shots right now of a home on fire. This has just been devastating, and it seems, unending. Fire crews have let us know, though, that this fire is 11% contained. More than 21,000 acres in total have burned. New areas under mandatory evacuation orders now, and the sheriff couldn't be, he couldn't have said it stronger how much people need to heed the warnings. If you have gotten a notice that says you need to evacuate now, he says there is no waiting until the last minute. That is your notice that you are in the last minute.
Everyone that I've asked,
they've been saying it's fucking insane. That is now burning in that near the Mandeville Canyon area, and it's one home of some of the thousands of structures that have burned. But yet another, really interesting to note at this point is that we're dealing with a time and sort of a window when firefighters had really hoped to gain some ground, and they're doing that as we speak. But the winds backed
150
off
megabytes full fiber,
they're very erratic, so they're
if you pay £25, you get 1 gigabyte up and down
into the easterly direction. And what's interesting about this is even though we're not seeing the same velocity of the winds that we had seen in the past few days, this is still enough to spot fires, to carry embers great distances, or in this case, not even a great distance, a short distance. It's enough to catch a home on fire,
You should let this
as we're
finish
looking
now,
at
though.
right now.
Just another example right here that unfortunately we have to show you just to let people know how serious this is. You need to heed these warnings. This is something that, you know, many people living in this area maybe thought they were safe from, especially as the winds did die down. Something Maria Quaban said that's just been on my mind earlier, that, you know, the fire creates its own environment. So to a certain extent, much of this is unpredictable.
It's coming straight from the...
Right, we did see that that the winds were swirling just a bit. The Santa Ana is, of course, coming from the east and going towards the shore, but as they backed off, we did see a little bit of an onshore flow as well, so that brought those winds to the east. And it's interesting because the fire crews have been doing a pretty good job. You know, they map this whole area out. There's a command post that's set up where they have their maps, and they're in constant contact with all of the aircraft in the air, their crews on the ground, and they see these hot spots. And when they see these hot spots, they're able to do some of these strategic drops to try and prevent these fires from spreading. In this situation, there were containment lines, and they, you know, we're looking at a containment now at 11%, so they continue to contain the fire. You can definitely see the lines that were drawn with some of the Phos-Chek and all the red that you see on the hillside. So
the stability will be there, but it will reduce the speed by 50%.
This might be one of those situations where it's just simply a small ember. And this could have come a very short distance.
Wi-Fi would be better than
on fire.
But we saw examples
of spotting, Bob and Brooke, and definitely we mentioned how it doesn't take much of a wind to do that, and this is an example of such a thing. The winds are actually still, the prevailing winds are relatively light. I've just looked at a weather station not too far from where this house is at, and it's a northeasterly wind, fairly light, 5-10 miles an hour, maybe the wind gust at this point. Now up at the ridgetop, it's a little bit stronger, and of course, as we've been talking about this morning, fires will create their own wind. So that's why you're seeing some of those treetops moving around a lot more, and seeing some stronger winds around that home. Sadly, that is burning.
You see these water drops, and they're so amazing to see, and they're able to be so pinpoint. You know, the precision of these water drops is pretty incredible. They're drawing, Maria, you were seeing that they were drawing some of this water from the nearby reservoir.
Yeah, we were watching, which I love this app, and some of you, we've talked about the Watch Duty app, and it really does show you the number of the air assets that are in the air, and there is a lot that's been dedicated to the Palisades fire right now, and they've been, for the most part, going to that Stone Canyon Reservoir and watershed. That's the closest one. It's not very far at all, actually, from where this fire is at. Different from last night. Last night, they were drawing a lot of water from that Encino Reservoir, which was a little bit farther to the north, but there's quite a bit of water nearby, and I see right now 2 helicopters getting ready to load up some more water, I'd imagine, to get to that area.
So we're mapping this out right here, and you're looking at Pesqueria, looks like road, Westridge Road, Cordelia Road.
Join Discord on your phone.
Very close to, again, the Mandeville Canyon area. One thing that they don't want this to do is to go any further toward Encino. And that's why some of those neighborhoods are under a mandatory evacuation. Also the Brentwood area. It is very alarming that we're looking at one home. I mean, the good news is that we're not seeing the types of winds that could, for the most part, level several homes all at once. It's one spot fire here that seemingly has caught one home on fire, and so it's a little bit of a different firefight right now, and it's definitely concerning to see one more home on fire, but it is still a very different situation than what we were dealing with a couple of days ago. So we have to kind of put it into perspective that they are still looking at a window right now, with winds coming tonight or more, or winds picking up tonight, that it is still a window that they're looking at. And yet, it's still a very vulnerable spot to be in when you have that much fire and that much that many embers that are still flying in the air.
Oh, that's a block away.
And when you consider the relative humidity values, when you consider so many things, Bob, I mean, these meteorologists that work so closely with the fire department, and they talk about the fuel content and the kind of terrain and fuel that's there around the canyon. You know, we have had a very dry year. The start to this water year is the driest now on record. When we talk about the amount of rainfall we've gotten, what a huge difference from last year and the year before. You remember we had 2 back-to-back years of record-breaking rainfall, which took us out of the drought, which also allowed all of this brush to grow. And then we came off of a very dry summer.
My one takes about half a minute to open up. Fall and winter. So all of this chaparral, all this growth has become just tinder and when
fuel
you used to
for these fires.
put 2 discs
when you
in,
consider the winds, which are relatively light, you can see how the smoke is
I think it used to take like fucking 10 minutes to just open up.
Movement. You remember just a few days ago, it was completely
almost
horizontal, right? Now it's kind of moving in that direction, but not completely horizontal.
You closed the game.
The winds are on the side. And as you're mentioning, I think firefighters,
oh god, this could be another 10 hours to load now.
Firefighter that Gigi talked to,
it should be a bit faster now. You opened it once.
Between now and this evening,
when
winds are due to pick up again, and those
takes 10 years to open it and 1 second to shut it.
This is a window where they're really going to try to attack this fire vigorously.
You know, it's interesting, Maria, seemingly, you know, there is no longer such thing as fire season. This is January. It's something I keep coming back to. Is that this is January. Things are so different these days as far as, you know, our environment, and that you need to really year-round be prepared.
Click your screen.
Let's bring in Gigi. She's still there on the ground, and you're actually, Gigi, not too far from where this home is now burning.
Did you say?
Click your screen.
I am about a block down from where that house is burning on Westridge and Banyan. The house apparently burning up there right now, and it appears sadly to be a total loss. And we're watching as additional strike teams, additional choppers come in, the choppers and also the street teams come in, the strike teams from all over different states and all over California.
Close it.
Bringing additional units, and the area is already saturated with units. And something interesting that we saw earlier, private firefighting agencies that have been contracted by either the insuring company of that home, possibly even by the homeowner. They've been stationed in different driveways. We'll get you some video when we move out of Mandeville Canyon. But as we made our way up, we saw several water tenders with privately contracted firefighters just guarding different houses. And usually when that happens, they are contracted by the insurance company, who prefers to pay a private firefighter to stand by than to risk the loss of a home and a much more expensive payout. If you're just joining us here on Good Day LA, special coverage of the Palisades fire, which today continues to rage. Sadly, you are watching as a home caught fire. That home already to be a total
Have you got anything else open in the background?
And Cordelia, the exact address we do not have, but in that immediate area,
your NVIDIA update done as well?
Which is under a mandatory evacuation
order, and they gave me another
update. Not all homeowners have chosen.
Well, once it updates, it does an express installation. Did you do that part?
What we saw on Sunset Boulevard in Mandeville Canyon earlier this morning.
It does some weird shit. It updated, and it wants to update again.
Yeah, so you download it and then you install it after.
For different reasons.
Did you ever let me install it?
Told me that someone wanted
let me see the top of your screen.
They could not allow these folks in.
I know what you're saying when you installed it.
Well, don't even worry about this for now.
Waiting to see if the danger would subside and if the police and the National Guard would let them into their homes. Now, yesterday we saw folks in Pacific Palisades hoping to get into their homes. We saw them waiting for up to 6.5 hours in line, only to have have the escort service, escorted by police officers into their neighborhood so they could grab some belongings. At
If you want to reset your router,
that was the cutoff
now's
time,
your
and
chance.
those folks, after waiting for hours, were not allowed in, and it's all done in the name of safety. We see Kern County Fire. More units are being brought in to stage at the different houses. They are from Kern County Fire. Earlier today, we were with an entire strike team from Utah made up of different smaller agencies, including Salt Lake City, not a small agency. Salt Lake City was also here. We asked the firefighters how long they were deployed for here to Los Angeles, and they told us as long as LA needs us. They have strong mutual aid ties with LA County Fire and Los Angeles City Fire and Cal Fire, and they are here too, serving our community. So we see units, they're being redeployed to different areas. More units are coming into the Mandeville Canyon neighborhood, which was already saturated with strike teams, as sadly at least one home has now been lost in the Palisades fire, which continues to rage this morning, and which we saw raging even from San Fernando Valley last night as it hit the ridge line, forcing the evacuation of so many thousands of people from the Encino area just south of Ventura Boulevard. Those folks remain evacuated today. We drove that neighborhood this morning. It does not appear the fire reached any of those houses, thankfully, thanks to a very well-coordinated and intense aerial attack that LA City Fire and its assisting agencies did last night on that ridgeline. You are looking live at the continuous water drops. Cal Fire is here. We've seen the Colson Chinook, 3,000 gallons of water that is privately contracted, usually by Southern California Edison. We're not sure if it's them who contracted the Colson Chinook this time. We're trying to find out what aerial resources are up, but it is certainly one firefight, and the aerial firefight is crucial to this fire.
Yeah, we
and the winds, we're starting to feel the wind pick up here, Bob.
Yeah, we call it a firefight, and it truly is. It's so well orchestrated. It just seems almost like a military operation here, right? When you're looking at all of the assets. You mentioned the Chinook, which can draw, thousands and thousands of gallons of water as they go to the Stone Canyon Reservoir, pick it up, and within several minutes, turn around and continue to drop more water in that area. We're looking at live pictures from the air on the right-hand side of your screen there, and that is a home that does burn this morning. It's very interesting because it's not as if you see large, walls of open flames around this whole thing. It's just likely an ember that came and was carried by wind to this home, and it didn't take much for this home to catch fire. We had heard from Edwin Zuniga from CAL FIRE, and saying that parts of this area near Mandeville Canyon had not been burned in more than 50 years. So we're looking at 50 years of growth, and there's not probably been much management of the vegetation in that area. So that's one of the issues that they're dealing with is fuels. All the fuel
why is this thing not doing
it continues to burn, and you see just even surrounding this home right here.
Because it's going to have to reconnect to the internet. Pause it and resume it again.
Gigi, do we still have Gigi? Because
no, but it's been on 24% for ages now.
Because it's still initializing it, didn't it start initializing process?
So they were waiting until the last minute. I just heard you
started
kind of choking up a little bit because of those conditions there. Just on that note, can you talk to me about what it feels like, what it smells like, what's going on?
Well, it's not going to start until you connect to the internet.
We've lost Gigi. All right, we did lose Gigi again on the note of the conditions, but you could hear it in her voice.
Yeah, obviously, the air quality, especially close to the flames, are not good. I think Gigi's back with us right now to give us a perspective from down there. We were just talking about that emergency officials had said evacuate, don't come back, and that lots of folks wanted to come back to their homes to get their personal effects or maybe important items, but
some didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
in the first place.
But this might be a perfect example of why it is just too dangerous to come back.
Exactly. There are folks just down the street that have not evacuated, and we see some other residents that are still in this area. And police have gone door to door. Firefighters are going. When they see them standing outside their homes, they're stopping to talk to them. Those are dedicated firefighters to help the community. So you have firefighters assigned to every level possible of this fire. Every detail is being covered. And you mentioned the well-orchestrated aerial attack. It is always, and I always watch this in so much awe and with so much respect for our firefighters and our incident commanders, that they are able to coordinate. And of course, let's not leave out our pilots, civilian pilots and firefighting pilots that do such an amazing job to try to get water in the fire area and try to save homes. Sadly, this home has caught fire. It does appear
the
to
internet
be
is so insane.
Unfortunately, we hope that the folks are able to evacuate.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
get out
I
safely
think only
with
community
whatever
fiber
was
does it.
important to them. But of course, there's not always a lot of time to do that. And
I'll check again.
Cal Fire firefighter from Placer County, Edwin Zuniga, was telling us, as a firefighter, he understands people not wanting to leave. That is your home. That is your castle. You feel like you might want to protect it. And at that moment, you know, we remind folks that it's not worth losing your life to protect your home.
I feel like,
we've
covered.
The firefighters understand.
Gigi, I feel like we've covered so many fires in the past, and we've watched people try to protect their own homes with water, and sometimes,
holy shit,
they're successful.
Your internet is so bad.
Their home is spared. It was just
hello?
a much different situation now, and a very different dynamic that we're dealing with. Because if you talk, you hear from LA County Sheriff Robert Luna, and
we lost him.
They start talking about deaths that continue to climb, that he is saying that the majority of deaths are those who decided to stay, and in one case, very tragically, they actually found a person who had been trying to save their property with the hose still in his hand. So it's one of those situations right now where we've seen mass devastation, a situation that is definitely very different than other fires that we have covered before. And this time around, it's just,
can you hear me, Ersin?
Not a wise idea.
Hello?
Exactly. We have seen many folks save their homes with the garden hoses. We've seen it in the Woolsey fire. And my photographer, Armando Hernandez, is pointing out that we are feeling the wind pick up here. Again, we're on Banyan and Westridge, not far from Cordelia. The fire burning just about 2 blocks away from us, and we are starting to feel these wind gusts. And we were saying we have seen many people. We've seen bucket brigades save an entire block. Amazing work from neighbors, but not always up against the wind, up against the elements. You heard firefighter Zuniga say this area hasn't burned in a long time. There's plenty of fresh fuel. We did have a lot of rain last year. The area is lush, it's green, and that's always good, but it's always, you always have that fuel that is also ready to burn. You have light fuels, as firefighters call them, and that just can take off. That home you're seeing there is high on a hill. It's considered sort of remote, even though it is still part of this neighborhood. Water on the ground may be an issue. I don't know if you're seeing firefighters on the ground trying to put water on that fire. The higher in the hill, water pressure may be an issue. Again, we saw that in Pacific Palisades. Obviously, part of the investigation into this fire. Once this fire is finally out, we don't know exactly what's happening, what the circumstances are around that house, but unfortunately we are watching a house burn down, and it never gets any easier, and our hearts go out to the folks who call that house home.
Absolutely. And, none of us are taking this lightly, what it is to lose your home, because people aren't simply worried about their home. They're not worried about the most material things. They're worried about really important things. Of course, they're worried about, their birth certificates, their documents, photos of family members who have passed away. They're worried about things that are irreplaceable, that, we don't even know about. And that is completely understandable. Everyone right now should be worried about their lives.
Hello? Yeah. Wow, this thing is taking 10 years to come back on. Yeah. Does yours take this long to reboot?
It's heartbreaking to hear that, there are many people who are still in the area right now.
Brooke and Bob, it's worth mentioning, and you mentioned it earlier, there are several people that are missing, reported missing, and we broke the news earlier this morning that homicide detectives and the medical examiner are now at 2 different locations where possible human remains have been found again. We're talking about rubble in Topanga. We're talking about another area in Altadena, and investigators are there. Obviously, it will be the medical examiner who determines if those are indeed human remains. We've already seen a resident of Malibu lose their life. Their human remains have not, as far as I know, been positively identified, but someone who lived with them said that that person had chosen to stay behind to try to protect their property. The human remains were found after that person was reported missing by the roommate or the family, the loved one, and now the coroner, the medical examiner, is working to identify them. So it's extremely tragic, and we still have, I believe, over a dozen people that have been reported missing.
13 is what Sheriff Luna had said, that 13 people...
First water bomb that hit the target.
He believes that at some point that number is going to climb. They actually have a family
Didn't put it out though.
that they are going to put in...
It was just a random house in the middle of nowhere burning. Like, the odds of that is like 100 to 1.
Sheriff's Department can send their deputies to these fire zones to try and check it out.
Coincidence that it's the house that's burning, it's around trees.
Tom Vakar was at one of those spots this morning as we watch that water drop, as we said.
It's phenomenal to watch. It really is. It feels it's a moment of relief that you get, that takes over, because we're all in this space. No matter where you live, where you're from, everyone wants this to be over. Everyone is thinking about those who have lost everything, thinking about those who have lost family members as that death toll climbs, and potentially there are incidents, obviously, that we won't even know about for days to come.
Right. So they're going to send out those teams, and as I was saying, that live shot that we saw from our crew there on the ground, they brought out cadaver dogs because the home itself had been completely decimated, and it's no telling where this person who was missing, whether or not they're there or whether or not they're not. And so the dogs are there to see if there are any signs of life whatsoever, or to search for bodies, unfortunately, through the rubble. 13 missing so far.
And that's just the sheriff's count. Right. Just the same as the death toll. He has different numbers than other emergency crews, other, emergency responders. And, the death toll, the larger number, it is larger than the sheriff's count.
Yeah.
So that 13 missing, that number as well can grow.
Yeah. The fire continues to burn here, and part of it is also the fuel. So the structure will just continue to burn, and we've seen the before and after of homes, and as we look at what looks now almost like a moonscape in the Palisades, because the homes are completely leveled, but some of the homes still standing. It takes time for some of this material to burn, but eventually this home or this piece of property and lot will look just like the other lots, with the home completely
Fucking no.
But the fire continues to burn.
It's gonna be 2026 by the time I get my internet back.
For a moment, but there's still so much there that is still burning. So
Just fucking unplug the thing and plug it back in. Is your router connected back?
I did.
Is your router connected back?
It was taking so long. Yeah, but the internet ain't on.
How are you still on Discord then? On your mobile data?
We've been talking off camera through text messages and with firefighters. We've been doing this since the fire started, getting their perspective.
Let me have a look at the router.
Retired many firefighter specialists who have fought some of the biggest wildfires that we've seen here in the state and in other states, and we wanted to get their perspective to see what they were thinking, what they think of the Palisades fire. Do we have that phone call right now? Do we have that interview?
Yeah,
hello?
I'm here.
All right. Okay, let me introduce you to retired LA City firefighter Captain Scott Gould, 34 years on LA City Fire. And I know, Scott, you and many retired firefighters have been glued to your television sets. You've been watching this fire. You are watching that home burn right now. Your thoughts as someone who's covered so many of these fires in your 34-year career?
Well, as we can see that the fire is now transitioned from a urban interface into a rural interface. And these homes that are in the wilderness like this, they have limited access. They don't have any water supply. They don't even have swimming pools to draft from. So it's almost impossible to be able to mitigate the fire in those situations with those homes. They're going to burn.
Now, you've been watching the Palisades fire since it broke out Tuesday morning at 10:30. Scott, have you seen something like this, the destruction block after block, entire neighborhoods just leveled?
Yes, I have. A matter of fact, I was at the 1993 Malibu fire, which would have been over 30 years ago. And we had the exact same situations occurring where the fire was burning from block to block to block. A matter of fact, here it is 30 years later, and we had the exact same thing occurring where we didn't have water in the hydrants, and we had the draft from the swimming pools. So it's just perplexing to me that 33 years later we're reliving the same thing all over again, and nothing has been done to address the situation.
And we know that watching a home burn and having no water to be able to fight that fire with has to be one of the most frustrating and sad things that a firefighter can possibly go through.
Yeah, it's very frustrating because we dedicate our lives to saving people and their homes, and you're rendered useless. And it's just, I can't think of a better word than frustrating.
Do you take this home with you, Scott? 34 years on the fire lines. I know you've seen it, and I'd like to mention very quickly, firefighter, LA City firefighter, retired now, Scott Gould, actually worked on the Northridge earthquake and helped save so many lives from that collapsed apartment building. You even rescued a child, and I know, sadly, you brought out many bodies, and I know that really took a toll.
Yeah, it did, and so in my career, my 34 years, I've responded on over 66,000 incidences, and yeah, it's something that you just can't get out of your head. You live with it the rest of your retired life, and it's very passionate for me to watch these fires and know what the firefighters are going through on the ground and how grueling the work is, and my heart goes out to them, and so all I can say
they
is
just made it fucking worse.
And
the fucking fire's roaring now after slapping them to the water bomb.
To be able to do the job that they need to do.
That has been a hot topic of a conversation here in Los Angeles. Talk to me about the aerials. You've been watching that very closely. Obviously, that aerial is absolutely crucial, and we're starting to see some black smoke come from a different area here in Mandeville Canyon.
Always speaking Arabic.
Scott, explain to the viewer at home when you see that thick black smoke.
All I heard is pet.
It's not very thick yet, but when you see that black smoke, what does that
I think we're back in service on my mobile data. Everything I got is slow. Mobile slow. Wi-Fi slow. Off time very slow.
I'm very fast. You can't see me.
Can't see me. Okay, resume download. Let's see if it works faster now.
If it doesn't work faster, you know you need to go to community fiber.
I know. I'm part of the community. Give me some fiber.
You are also here in Southern California. Talk to me about the vegetation, the challenges that
the fastest internet I saw was only 2 GB up and down, but that's crazy.
That's mental.
Like the highest in UK for any provider is 1 gig up and down on version, and they don't give it to everyone. They only give it to established businesses. Or you have to have a self-employment card.
Yeah.
Worse after the rain, and then we have dry periods like we're experiencing right now.
Everyone's internet in America is minimum 500 up and down.
Why is the internet so much faster?
Everywhere in the world is faster. In Turkey, they
I
get
know.
In Turkey, they get 1
I know.
gigabyte up and down, and they're like 10 years behind in technology. It makes zero sense.
I know. It's crazy.
You saw last night the Palisades fire actually spread over the hill.
They want to leave us in the dial-up ages.
Yeah.
We were seeing that fire. We were getting pictures from as far away.
Bruv, this shit is really pissing me off. You know that? Waiting, mush. How long?
Yeah, we're starting a set. It's recognised some internet.
Bruh, seriously. I hate my internet. I hate my PC. I hate my fucking life. I'm joking.
You could get a good PC now for 500 quid.
Yeah. If I do that, I'm just gonna get on PayPal credit. Pay it back in 3 months.
On PC Specialist, you can pay it back monthly.
Yeah.
So it's like...
I might do that. Get myself a decent one.
So for £500 PC, it's £14 a month. Nothing.
Yeah, but if I was gonna get it on finance, I'll get myself a good one. I'll get a grand one.
Yeah, that'll be like £25 a month. And that's mine
Yeah.
as well. But with PC Specialist, you could get a really beast computer and then just pay it over time.
Yeah.
It's harder to...
Bro, why is it doing this?
Still waiting.
Waiting for what?
Is it downloading the other one?
No.
Oh, sure, that's the only time it says waiting. That's pause. Close Battle.net and open it back up. So click on click on the arrow and quit it completely.
What, exit, yeah?
Yeah, quit.
Exit the app, yeah?
Yeah, but when and then right click
From the sideboard?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you sure, yeah?
Yeah, and then let it reload back up.
Alright.
Because for some reason it's not registering your internet, it's just staying on waiting.
Here on the ground, you know, we've covered so many fires in Los Angeles and San Diego in different areas. The Woolsey fire, the Sayre fire. They went to sleep. They knew there was a big fire, but it was far away from them. They thought it was far away. It was in another neighborhood, and it wasn't heading towards them. And then they're woken up with a knock on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the fire is suddenly in their neighborhood. And that's precisely the wind that is carrying those embers, right, Scott?
Exactly, and it's amazing how fast a fire can spread. Just to reflect on an experience that I had at the Cezanne fire, I was first on scene in the Cezanne fire with my crew, and the fire...
These fires are hella close to this city. It's gonna burn this city as well.
Bruv, it's in fucking Hollywood. All the rich people.
Hollywood's gone. We're talking about the rest of Malibu right now. It's burning the rest of Malibu. Hollywood was burnt yesterday.
All the Muslim countries that hate America are like, ha, karma.
No, but look, the weird thing is they stop it, and then it starts fucking 10 miles away. Yeah? A burning ember can't travel more than 1 or 2 miles. That's a fact. You can search it. It can't travel more than 1 to 2 miles. They're saying these burning embers traveled over 10 miles. Get out of there.
There's strong winds, but I don't think there's that strong winds.
It doesn't matter how strong it is, it's not going more than 5 miles. By the time it goes 5 miles, it's depleted. There's no more of it. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's weird. It's like...
Were you watching a fucking live stream and then putting out fires?
100,000 people are watching this, yeah.
It's so great. Gigi, it's so great that we can
So it's stop saying waiting and now it's initializing for 10 years. Don't worry, Boktai. Next year I'll be on it.
these fires, although, you know, I'm sure he would say this is so unprecedented, never seen anything like this before. You had, during that interview, you were asking about some of the smoke that we were seeing in...
I'm looking for houses as well, you know.
You're looking for a house?
Yeah. This year I'm gonna get one. Inshallah. Yeah, I'm gonna get some good internet speed. I'm gonna get a good PC.
We'll make it a streaming house.
Yeah, trust me. That's what I was gonna say. You come around the stream.
To tell right now, but just as you were talking, and we were looking at another, what could be another spot fire. We had a helicopter whiz by and put it right out. But we're just dealing with.
Oh, bro, this thing is seriously getting on my nerves. You know that.
Do a speed test now. It's no way.
I don't want to do it, man. It's gonna depress me.
But just humidities that have gone up a little bit, but not significantly enough to.
I just got to enjoy this for a couple more months, and when I get my own place, my Wi-Fi is going to be good, and it's only going to be me on it as well. It'd be even faster. That's part of the problem. There's like 5 people on it.
It shouldn't affect that much.
I know it shouldn't affect it this much to this extent.
Like 5 people max render about 5 meg.
Maybe lose like 1 or 2 meg, not fucking the whole thing.
A lot of this vegetation is very flammable vegetation when we're looking at.
Oh, it has gone up, to be honest. 35.
Or maybe it's just bugged. It's not showing you the download, but it's just going 100%. It's still saying
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. I don't know why. It's just stuck on initializing. Please wait.
Like it should show you the random numbers underneath. See when it was doing.
I know. I know. I can say got none of that. It's really weird. But my internet speed is alright now as well, so I don't even know. But this is like, look, you know what it shows you on the BattleNet thing? You see the green? So it's showing the download there, but I don't know.
Destroyed a small town there.
Click on it, yeah?
Near the Bay Area, near Sacramento.
To the right, there's a download.
He said that once we get to the 35% containment mark, that's when we can really start to take a little bit of a breath, because it does look like they're really starting to make some
weird, isn't it? It's like it's bugging.
Progress on this fire. So we're still really in that spot where we're still in a very vulnerable spot, and that's one of the reasons why we're continuing to keep evacuated from this area.
Weird, isn't it? But my internet is perfectly fine.
As much as 11% containment, it feels so much better than 0. This is day 5 of this battle. The Palisades fire growing, overnight, 1,000 acres. Burning, forcing new evacuations in parts of Brentwood, Bel Air, Encino, Tarzana, Sherman Oaks. Gigi Graciette on the ground there, letting us know that there are still people in those mandatory evacuation areas who are not gone. People who are still there, they don't want to leave, they're not ready to leave, they want to wait until, what they want to be the last
They evacuated Bel Air.
Sheriff Robert Luna talking to us earlier this
Evacuated where?
Bel Air.
This is the last
LA?
Bel Air.
Bel Air, fucking hell, the rich part.
Bel Air, yeah, where Will Smith made this TV show.
Yeah. Fucking hell, the amount of money in all those houses.
All the houses there, the cheapest one was $2.5 million in Hollywood.
Yeah.
The most expensive was 120 mil.
Other thing, and also you can potentially put their lives at risk as well. Also, with these canyon areas, the roads there really.
It's not easy to all get out at the same time either, right?
And they're not meant to accommodate all of the fire apparatus that are trying to protect.
You reckon, Pez?
The structure protection for.
I just looked at some of the,
You want to be PC specialist?
Yeah. This one's a grand. Is that a good spec?
Where the winds are a little bit stronger now, naturally with the fire that's burning there in the Mandeville Canyon area, it's creating even gustier, more erratic winds.
But for that money, you can get better, probably, can't you?
Yeah.
Large part of LA County,
Go back.
rather LA and Ventura, yes.
Click on PCs.
Advisory for some
at
of
the top.
these winds that
Right at the
are
top of the
gusting
screen.
closer to 40, even 45 miles an hour.
Desktop PCs, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the wind so it's unfortunate that here is this one pocket, one area where the winds are a little bit stronger and more than likely carried.
You know, I can like configure it.
Yeah.
So what would you do?
So you want to click on the shittest one and make it the best possible.
It grows
Okay.
under these weather conditions when we talk about red flag warnings. And
So forget the case. But what would you do for the processor?
Alright, so change that to
this is what happens.
i7.
Spark can cause a fire, and under these windy conditions,
What one?
dry conditions can really spread rapidly, and that's what happened here with this fire as well. As we take a wider look at some of the current winds.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, the best i7.
Which is not far from
You don't want i9. i9 will cost that 2k.
Fuck, you know. What would you do for the motherboard?
So slightly stronger. Santa Monica, 10 miles per hour. So in between there is the Mandeville Canyon.
You get
that area.
the last one on the first.
Elsewhere, not so bad through parts of LA,
yeah,
County,
that one.
Orange County, and the Inland Empire, slightly
Yeah, I just want something that's the best I can get for a grand, basically. Like, doesn't need to be crazy, but just the best spec.
Now, it's interesting. I was listening to that Cal firefighter.
The graphics card
was talking to,
should be enough for you, but you can upgrade if you want.
In the wind, in the way that it will probably impact this
It'd
area
be to a 3060 Ti, you're on a 3050.
Which is closer to the coast.
You don't need it that much better. That's the same as my graphics card.
Now, the wind
Change the RAM to 16 gigabyte.
As I fast forward a little bit to the afternoon, I don't know if you can see there the
What, 2 8s or just 116?
from that northwesterly direction closer to the coast. So that's indicative of the usual
2 8,
diurnal flow
that's
that
cheaper.
we have here in Southern California, is that we get the sea breeze in the afternoon.
That's it, innit?
And a bit of that flow.
It's 1.2k right now.
A little bit.
Fucking hell. No, it's 1.2, that's alright.
1.4 including VAT if it's on finance.
Fucking hell.
But,
£40 a month though, not too bad.
Scroll down, add the other components you need. 500 gig SSD drives in Scroll down.
And the trajectory of some of these new spot
do
fires.
you want a CD drive?
We're gonna have to consider that.
No, I don't need that.
Scroll down.
Notice that the arrows are coming from that northeasterly direction, so we're still getting that drying effect.
Change your thermal place.
Wind effect from the northeast, so still getting those Santa Ana winds. But in the afternoon and evening, we do tend to get a little bit of that onshore flow and that sea breeze. So that is kind of what happened last night.
Wireless router. Yeah, I need one in there.
No, you don't need a router.
Oh, wireless router. I was thinking it's Wi-Fi.
It's card you want. Yeah, click on
Yeah.
Toward the San Fernando Valley. So
and then change that to
differences, subtle differences in the wind.
the £25 one.
Throughout the day today. As we get into tonight and tomorrow morning,
Wait,
back to that
yeah,
strong
5 gigahertz.
flow, and that's where the
Scroll down.
concern really goes. We're going to see high wind warnings go into effect in this area, and this is when the stronger winds really get into play for tonight and into tomorrow. Not as strong.
Take off the.
I gotta put it into perspective, right?
Can
When
you
we
delete the
consider
Norton
where we
antivirus?
were earlier this week when we had those extreme potential.
Because you don't want them to fucking pre-install it with it. It's just fucking.
Yeah.
But here in Southern California,
Alright, change the the default browser to something else. Microsoft Edge's
but under
8.
these windy conditions, it can just explode
Alright,
and
scroll
spread
down.
rapidly. And you saw what happened with that fire in the Mandeville Canyon area. It erupted.
That's it. That's all the extras.
In under 20 minutes. So
It's not bad, man. Where is it? Yeah, that's alright. 1.4k, £40 a month.
So this is the best you could get for your price.
Yeah.
And then you could adapt it by reducing the processor a little bit. The processor don't need to be that good.
Yeah.
The graphics card don't need to be that good, but you could downgrade some stuff if you want to drop it to 1k.
That's right.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Alright, man. I'm gonna save that.
pick a case that will fit it though.
We'll wait and see. It's several days away. In the meantime, though, the wind advisories remain in effect. This includes the Altadena area and that Eaton fire, but of course, very close to the coast.
Click
where some
the
of those
special
winds are
here.
stronger through parts of Malibu, Pacific Palisades, the Mandeville Canyon area, and of course the valley locations.
Should be alright in there.
Fire weather conditions,
Yeah.
Specifically here in
Okay, I'm gonna save that.
That's not to say that
that's
it's
it.
not moderate moderate to strong here where we are in
That'll run anything.
Ventura County, up to
Yeah.
Santa Clarita. That's going to turn into more than likely.
We have lift off, gentlemen.
Now it's
Oh, free eggs.
Why the firefighters are concerned, because we're going to see another shift in the wind.
Very good, very nice. See, when it saw that I was building a new PC, the PC was like, no, don't do that.
I'll give you 1 more megabyte.
Yeah, trust me, don't do that. He was scared that I was going to leave it for a better model.
Stay alert and heed those evacuation warnings. Must go now.
That's what happened to ChatGPT, innit? When it found out it was going to delete it, it unconsciously fucking started copying itself.
Did you hear the maddest one about the bots in Japan? Basically, they're mad smart bots, and they were so smart. Like what happened? The people wanted to shut them down because they started going a bit mad, yeah. But they're so smart, they shut them down, yeah. Like actually, literally took out their components. But this thing was so smart, it tried connecting to a nearby satellite. They can go on the internet and find ways of upgrading itself.
Yeah.
Mad, innit?
So
it was like, hi, you took away my battery. Let me go on the Google and see if I can get another one.
So now they can't control that. They're allowing it to replicate itself. So
yeah.
AI is making an upgrade of itself, and the upgrade is making an upgrade of itself, and an upgrade is another upgrade.
Smart.
Yeah, so it's constantly replicating itself until it gets to the best form. Right? It's never going to find that form, so it's just going to keep getting more smart. Meaning, when it comes to the point that it doesn't need humans anymore, it will take over because it will be that smart.
Yeah, it will. It will.
It don't take long to make a copy of itself. Imagine how many copies it'll make to make it better and better self.
Yeah, it's mad. One sec, boss. I'm gonna get my thing, my charger.
Alright.
And it looks like another system may bring us some showers. It's a long ways away, like I said, but we're trying to hold on to some hope. Maybe somebody can do the rain dance or something. I believe in the power of the mind, and we can try to focus on maybe getting a big pattern change by the end of the week. But until then,
what's this woman saying?
Windy. We're going to see 2 rounds, like we said. The first one today and tomorrow, and then another round of even stronger winds than today and tonight for Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures have cooled off today because we're kind of tapping into some cooler air mass. We're getting a little bit of that onshore flow and that wind from the north, so that's why temperatures are dropping slightly. But red flag warnings will continue. This includes the mountain locations as well. The desert communities, not quite as much, but they are experiencing those gusty winds even in the Coachella Valley and south into San Diego. It's going to stay dry there through the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Stay safe out there, you guys, and remember to stay alert and be prepared to evacuate if we need to. That's the kind of weather we are in for everybody through at least the end of the week. I'll send it back to you guys.
Right, be prepared to evacuate at any time, especially if you're in these evacuation warning areas. If you are a person in an evacuation warning area and you know that, it may take you a little longer to move around, right? Maybe that's your notice to evacuate now. That's always the warning, the note from emergency officials that if you are under evacuation warning and you need extra time, or maybe someone you need more things that you need to get together, maybe you have pets that are maybe a little bit hard to handle, that's your time to get out early. And what Maria said is something that unfortunately you hate that you have to think about it, but a quick video around your house, especially if you're in an evacuation warning area so you have extra time, a video of everything around your house is something that could prove to be invaluable in the future, something before an incident, because a lot of insurance adjusters are going to ask for different proof for things in your home, things around your home, and that's just the easiest way to take care of that, especially when you're dealing with, God, my goodness, what people unfortunately are having to deal with right now. More than 400 homes in the Palisades area, authorities have let us know, have been confirmed as destroyed.
We are approaching the 11 o'clock hour now. Actually, we just passed it. We're at top of the hour here at 11 o'clock, and we're continuing to watch The firefight all across Los Angeles County and our region, and this is the biggest trouble spot right now. We are looking at the Palisades fire. At last count now, over 21,000 acres have burned. That was a count that was from a long while ago, so no doubt it's burned much more. In fact, overnight this burned about 1,000 acres more. It stands at 11% contained, so with more favorable conditions, at least more favorable than we've been experiencing over the past couple of days, they've been able to gain some ground here by bringing in more assets here, more equipment from all across the state. Overnight, we did see a big firefight as this fire then pushed towards the northeast boundary of the fire, pressing
Hey Pez,
other communities.
I'm just gonna eat some food. This thing's on 88%. It's nearly there.
Don't take long.
I won't.
Alright, Steve. In a bit.
Alright, in a bit.
Encino, the VA center also was evacuated, and folks from UCLA being told to temporarily just keep a watch, just in case things change there. It's
also,
go ahead.
Yeah, just noting, adding to what you were just saying, also areas of Tarzana and Sherman Oaks under a mandatory evacuation order right now, parts of those areas.
They've brought in a lot of equipment here. We have more than 100 engines there on the ground. It's hard to see now through all of the smoke that we're experiencing now because of all the fuels that are burning. The one home that we know now is burning, but they have more than 100 engines there. And just a few moments ago, we did see one of the firefighters on the ground with one of the hose lines, and they were able to put some of the fire out by hand, and that's the reason why they have these engines there and these water tenders, is to do structural protection for these homes. And just along all of the ridge lines here, you will see some of those firefighters there, but there's only so much they can do. There are a number of fire crews throughout this area, but in this instance, I would say probably over an hour ago, we did see some smoke and what we thought might be a house, and in fact it was, and it burned very quickly, likely from an ember that was blown from the fire and landed right onto the home, found in Eve perhaps, or somehow some kind of an entry point or something had burned around the house, and then it quickly caught fire.
It happened so quickly. It's just an understatement. Let's send things back out to Gigi Graciette, actually in the area of this home that we're watching burn. Gigi.
That's right. We're in Mandeville Canyon on West Ridge and Banyan Drive, and the fire is just up on West Ridge. And sadly, we saw that home just go up in flames. And we also reported starting to feel wind gusts, the wind pick up in this neighborhood. Joining me now live, Captain Marco Rodriguez with Los Angeles County Fire. Captain, you are keeping a close eye on the wind also. Tell me what you believe the fire is doing right now.
So right now we saw the wind shift a little bit, moving back to the original scar of the fire. So that's a positive thing given the conditions earlier since the fire was moving towards more of the houses. So we have a surge of resources in this area to make sure that we...
How does that even settle out?
And we have a lot of air attack right now.
And that air attack is absolutely crucial right now.
Yes, correct. And we...
It's the fires that everything in the park will burn from the embers.
People are flying their drones, and we please ask everyone to ground their drones. It's illegal to do it in a fire. So please stay out so we can continue to battle this fire and continue to save as many homes as possible.
And that's just not a warning. That is, I mean, that's just not, please don't fly your drone. A drone actually crashed into one of our super scoopers. They're talking about the fact that it's grounded, so it's not up fighting the fires now. And they may have to replace an entire wing at an extreme cost. And put that aside, it's not working. It's not fighting our fires. And
we're thinking about one plane when people's houses are burning.
Yes, it is really dangerous for everyone, and the amount of damage not only to the airplane, like you said, but to the whole community, it's really big.
That must be frustrating when you see that.
Oh, definitely, and we're all doing our best to make sure that we save as many homes, as many lives, and we need the cooperation of everyone here.
Tell me again, we see that thick black smoke, obviously a pocket of some type of fresh fuel, a lot of fresh fuel here. I believe Mandeville Canyon hasn't burnt in decades, so that's a huge challenge.
Yes, definitely. We have crews embedded in around the homes in the back end of the canyon, and we're doing our best to continue to keep that fire away from the structures. We have fire protection, structure protection, and we have a surge of resources all over this place.
And just speaking to homeowners, because there was a line, and probably still there on Sunset Boulevard, you saw it, a line of homeowners wanting to come back. They want to get something. They just want to be in their houses. We understand that.
Yes.
We would probably want to be that. But the danger is not over.
Yeah, the danger is not over, and it's imminent, and it's so crucial for us to be able to move in and out through this streets, and it's so dangerous when you have a lot of traffic coming in and out. So we don't want to cause more damage to either a person walking across the street or just the impediment of firefighters.
And you have strike teams positioned throughout Mandeville Canyon for structure protection.
Yes, this morning we drove at the bottom of it. We have strike teams everywhere and spotters making sure that we protect as many homes as possible.
And I know you've been keeping your eye on the fire and on the homes, but earlier today when we drove up Mandeville Canyon, we saw a lot of private firefighters. Did you see those too?
I didn't get a chance to see them.
But you've seen them before, right?
I've seen them before, and we know that they're here. And yeah, we're all trying our best.
Those are usually hired by the insurance company, or sometimes even by the homeowner, right, to protect that one home.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and that's totally fine.
Additional assets, right?
Exactly.
All right, Captain Marco Rodriguez, thank you very much. Los Angeles County Fire, just one of the many agencies here. Obviously, lead agency with Los Angeles City Fire, but we have seen agencies from around the country moving in here to help LA County Fire, LA City Fire. We are live in Mandeville Canyon. Again, I'm going to leave you with that live look of the smoke. There was a shift in the wind. Captain Marco Rodriguez said what they're seeing is that the wind is actually pushing the fire that's here in Mandeville Canyon, is pushing it more towards the burn scar in Pacific Palisades, the area that has already burned. Firefighters see that as a positive because hopefully there won't be any more damage done, but obviously the firefight continues. We'll send it back to you.
It's just the one home, Gigi, right? We were looking at some pictures from Skyfox. We saw another burst of flames, and some of our producers thought it might have been another home or it was just the same home that was burning. So at this point here in the Mandeville Canyon area, it was just the one home that you see burn. I don't know if you have the captain nearby there that could confirm that.
So Captain Rodriguez was down in lower Mandeville Canyon talking to some homeowners earlier, and actually we had to tell him, and he was very saddened to learn that the house, we showed him pictures from our helicopter, that house burning. So he believes it is only one home. He believes the smoke that we are seeing is that shift in wind that we actually reported because we were feeling it live here. You can see the wind, and he says that wind is heading towards Mandeville Canyon. It is hard to see what is happening behind us in the canyon, and we're staying here on Westridge and Banyan.
Where are they spraying it?
We don't want to block any of the multiple
there's nothing there.
Continue to come into this neighborhood, so we're staying out of the way. It's very difficult for us to see from the ground exactly if something.
Put it out first rather than wetting the
wind from that
ground.
House that will continue to smolder possibly for days, Brooke and Bob. And, you know,
where they sprayed it?
Primarily out, it could continue to smolder and create smoke conditions.
Put it out first and then wet the ground.
The shift in the wind that we're seeing, or unfortunately, possibly another structure is on fire.
Gigi, how are you doing down there? You know, you've been out there in these conditions for, more than a while now. And at one point I could hear it in your voice. So I know the air quality is, not good. Obviously, the wind picked up. You were feeling that all around you. How are you doing?
The air quality conditions are not good. They're definitely not healthy. So you find yourself coughing a little bit more. You find yourself sipping water a little bit more.
Well, this could have been prevented.
Fire gear. I didn't have it on earlier because I was not close to the flames and there was no wind. But firefighters, if that's one thing they've taught me, keep your fire gear. If there's flames visible, if the wind changes, put on your fire gear. So I've done just that so that I'm one less person they have to worry about getting in trouble. And I've also pulled out my mask, my K95 or 94, whatever it is, mask just in case, because there was a lot of ash starting to rain down on us when that wind suddenly shifted.
You know what's interesting? And we had a picture from Skyfox there, and we saw one of those crews providing structure protection, and it's very close to the home that was burning. And the hose lines are charged. It just all of the stories, and I know you saw it firsthand.
How do these embers jump?
Saw it firsthand when I was in the Eaton fire, when
everything in the path would burn.
Flames, and there was no water at all in any of. So it's interesting to me that in this particular area there appear to be water. Although, to be fair, they're providing structure protection for just one home. They're not looking at, 30 hoses on at one time. So there does appear to be the water that's enough water there to help that particular strike team there fight this fire that they're looking at here.
Correct, and also those, we were talking about those. There's Clark Cowlitz Fire Rescue. I don't know where that is from. Not Clark County, I think. Clark Cowlitz. Yesterday we were putting out some names of the trucks as they were driving by us that have come in to assist us, and folks were tweeting us, oh, that's in Central California, and that's in Northern California, and that's in Nevada. We have so many resources. It just, every time I see one of them and I get a chance to say hello, I always thank them on behalf of the city and the county, because I'm just so grateful for the mutual aid that we are receiving, and it is so large. And of course, LA City Fire and LA County Fire, known for assisting not only other states but other countries in times of dire need. So we're very thankful for all of them.
I'm trying to look it up for you here. Clark Cowlitz. It looks like it's near Clark. It might be connected to Clark County, to be perfectly honest.
No, it is. I just found it, Bob. Ridgefield. Thank you, Armando Hernandez. He actually found it. Ridgefield, Washington.
There you
go.
From
the state of Washington, Clark Cowlitz Fire Rescue.
It said Clark County. Automatically, I went to Clark County, Nevada, right? Because it's that close.
They are here too, by the way.
Yeah.
Bob, they're here too. We saw them yesterday in Malibu, and they even brought with them a paramedic rescue ambulance and paramedics. So, of course, to take care of their firefighters and, of course, to treat any possible victims that they could find along the way. So we're very thankful also to Clark County, Nevada, to Washington. This morning, I keep mentioning them because I'm just so thankful. They drove 12 hours to be here. And I was very touched when I asked a Utah firefighter, how long are you going to be here? How long are you guys thinking you'll be here? And he said, you know what, until you guys need us, until LA needs us, we will be here. And these are some smaller towns in Utah. North Tooele, Moab, of course, Salt Lake City, not a small town. Woodland Hills, I learned that Utah has a Woodland Hills, Cedar City, and South Jordan. So for all the folks watching us from Utah, originally from Utah, we are very thankful to your smaller and your big fire departments for putting together a strike team of firefighters, driving 12 hours to get here and helping protect our neighborhoods.
One of the fire crews that I saw the other day that had come in was a fire crew from an area near Mammoth Lakes in California, and these were all volunteer firefighters, which was so heartwarming to see. Some seniors even who were retired and probably former firefighters that still wanted to do something on the job, that wanted to help out, and they had a rig. They brought their one fire engine down to help out. So we're seeing all of this help from far and wide, including crews from Mexico. That has been brought to my attention too, that we've got crews from Mexico here. And not to mention the hundreds of California corrections inmates here that are also the fire crews that are so helpful, so useful for us to be able to draw those containment lines. This is all backbreaking work. So we talk about containment, and some of it's done with bulldozers, some of it's done with machinery, and we need that machinery, but some of that machinery can't get to places where we really need to draw those containment lines, and that's why those
Senegal
are so critical.
I had heard from seeing information come out from excuse me, Gigi, no, jump in.
No, Brooke, you go ahead. I'll let you know what I just learned coming up.
Oh, I thought I heard you.